So welcome to this segment of my videos as we now focus and look at the importance of chemistry. Why is chemistry important? Remember that if you look at most of the things that are around you, from the clothing that you are wearing, to the food that you eat, to the drugs that you take when you're sick, chemistry, plays a very important role. In other words, chemistry plays a very important role in our lives, because having the knowledge of chemistry can help us to build or to manufacture a lot of things. So I can simply say I can simply say that the knowledge, so let me say that the knowledge of chemistry, is important because having the knowledge of chemistry is important because, one, the knowledge of chemistry is helps us to manufacture soaps and detergents that we use for cleaning. So we can simply say the knowledge, because the knowledge helps us to manufacture. So the knowledge of chemistry helps us to manufacture we can say soaps and detergents used for cleaning. So it is because of the knowledge of chemistry that we are going to be manufacturing soap and detergent which we use for cleaning. Again, the knowledge of chemistry helps in manufacturing. So it actually helps in manufacturing medicines. So it can also help us to manufacture medicines and pharmaceutical products. So I think so that should be the correct word, pharmaceutical products. So without the knowledge of chemistry, we cannot make medicines and many other pharmaceutical products that we do have. It's practically impossible. It is because of the knowledge of chemistry that we are able to do that. The knowledge of chemistry again helps when baking. It actually helps when baking and brewing. So baking, maybe we can say baking, brewing, and maybe we can say processing, beverages, processing drinks. So it will help us. Without the knowledge of chemistry, then it becomes practically impossible for us to bake, to brew, and also to process, some of the drinks that you love, such as Fanta, Fruticana, and many others that you actually, can talk about. Again, knowledge of chemistry, we can simply say the knowledge of chemistry is simply used, in treatment of drinking water. So you are going to find that having the knowledge of chemistry will actually help us to purify drinking water at waterworks. So without the knowledge of chemistry, it would be impossible for us to actually purify the drinking water. So we want, that knowledge in order to help us so that we can actually, get, clean drinking water. So very important. Another aspect that we can talk about, there are so many importance if you look at it. Another aspect why the knowledge of chemistry, it actually, helps us, to process. It actually helps us to process crude oil into useful components. So it actually helps us to process crude oil into useful components. Petroleum, for example, in Ndola we have got the Indeni refinery. So crude oil, when you look at crude oil, that crude oil, you can get a lot of things. You can actually get your your paraffin. You can actually, when it is actually purified because of using the knowledge of chemistry, what we call fractional distillation of crude oil, you can get paraffin. You can simply get your petrol that you need for your vehicle. You can simply get your diesel that you need. You can simply get what we can simply call as being your can I simply say petroleum gas. You can simply get your petroleum gas, the one that you are using in your gas stove. You can get that. Your Vaseline, if you go and read on the outer casing for Blue Seal, you are going to say they'll say petroleum jelly, because you can actually use it in making up your Vaseline. It is actually coming from that. You can simply talk about glycerin. You can simply talk about bitumen, the one that they are using to surface the roads in making the roads. This is actually very important. What we are calling as being jet fuel, it is because of crude oil. So the knowledge of chemistry will help actually to produce these useful components that are actually important in our daily lives. Do you see how the knowledge of chemistry is very important? Of course, even in things like mining industries, they are actually using the knowledge of chemistry in order to extract the minerals that are there, such as electrolysis that they are using. So in the mining industry, they are also using the knowledge of chemistry. Apart from that, you can simply talk about many other products that are made. For example, products such as what we are wearing, your clothes. It could be your paints that you are using to paint. It could be plastics that we are using. Is it plastic plates, plastic cups, plastic bags? It is because of the knowledge of chemistry that you can use to manufacture all this. So you can see that chemistry is very important in our daily lives. So you need to know the importance of chemistry. Please, you can pause the video and try to reflect on the importance of chemistry. These are important things that we can talk about. Now, I want to actually highlight to you, well, as you learn chemistry, what are some of the career opportunities that you can, a career that you can actually pursue? What are some of the careers that you can actually pursue as a student who is actually learning chemistry? Well, there are a lot of careers that you can actually pursue as a student that is actually learning chemistry. For example, you can simply, in an industry, you can be a quality control officer. So you can actually work as a quality control officer, where you are able to control the quality of the products that is actually being produced. That's what you can do. You can also be a chemical engineer. You can actually be a chemical engineer. It is possible if you want to pursue chemical engineering. In case you want to become a nutritionist, remember, you want to actually prescribe the right diet for people that are actually suffering from certain diseases, especially children. You can actually become a nutritionist. You can also work as a pharmacist. You can actually try to train later on. You can train as a pharmacist. It is possible. Like myself, the knowledge of chemistry can also help you later to become a chemistry teacher like myself. It is actually very much possible. Remember, we drive the world. We help learners to become who they are wherever in the world. So being a chemistry teacher is actually important for the love of chemistry. It is also important that you can also pursue a career in metallurgy. You can become a metallurgist. So it is possible. Now, when we talk about a metallurgist, maybe you might not actually have a lot of ideas. Metallurgy is simply the study of metals. So these guys are more specialized in actually trying to look at metals, the minerals that are actually in a composition of ore. So metallurgy, you can become a metallurgist. It is actually possible. Or you can become also a laboratory technician. So you can also become a laboratory technician. So you can also become a laboratory technician, or a laboratory worker. So these are some of the career choices that actually, chemistry empowers you to become. So you can also look at, what are the environmental effects. So maybe you can look at the challenges of chemical industries, especially when it comes to, production of these, chemicals. There are a lot of challenges that actually come, so you can actually look at this. So all in all, so far I've actually looked at what is chemistry. I've actually looked at the branches of chemistry, if you're able to remember. And of course, I've looked at the importance of chemistry and also, the career opportunities that are available. So please, if you didn't watch my previous video, just go to my previous video in the playlist and you'll be able to find them and actually get to learn more. So in my next video, we are going to actually interact and look at lab safety, laboratory, safety in chemistry.